Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
How are you?
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. Good to see you back. All right, we're ready to start.
Your Honor, let me give you the reset date for the SAP calendar, which is May 23rd.
Okay, May 23rd.
And you disappeared from the monitor for some reason. I can't see you.
Oh, hold on. I think I accidentally did that. Sorry.
Okay.
May 23rd. Got it. Oh, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Regina Mincy, and this is the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations Calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I will also be providing you, as you just heard, with a reset date for the SAP calendar, which is May 23rd. I want to also begin by advising and reminding everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, and govern yourselves accordingly with that. Everyone, all the defendants on this calendar should be reminded that you have certain constitutional rights. The first is that you have a right to representation. You should know who your attorneys are at this point. You also have the right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts and circumstances or occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The state is here and they're listening. All right, deputies, who do we have first?
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy. It's going to be Mr. Drummer, position number 3.
All right, thank you. This is 23 CR 002870Y. It's at Davion Drummer, charged with 1 count of battery, 1 count of criminal trespass, and a 3rd count of theft by taking. Offense date, May 5th, 2022. Pretrial.
Drummer, second arrest, 2021, criminal damage to property, 1st degree, aggravated assault. And that's open out of Clayton County.
Okay. All right, state, speaker
All
staff.
right. Good afternoon, Judge Mincy. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you. So this incident occurred May 5th, 2022 at 4832 Campbell Drive. And this is where officers arrived and spoke to Mr. Alan Osley, who informed them that he and his girlfriend were in a verbal dispute where she told her son, who is the defendant, that Mr. Osley hit her. The defendant became upset and started to punch Mr. Osley in the face. And the defendant took Mr. Osley's car keys and his house keys, and he also took his phone and threw it on the ground, causing the screen to crack. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, $1,000 for the criminal trespass, and $1,000 for the theft by taken. We're also recommending a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. Osley, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I noticed the state didn't ask that we sound for Mr. Osley. Perhaps they are aware that he is now dead. At least that is my understanding.
Oh, he's deceased.
Yes, he is deceased, Your Honor. My client has informed me of that. But anyway, my client is 19 years old. He is the father of a 4-year-old, Your Honor, who he is actively involved in his life. He tells me that on the date the alleged incident happened, his mother was being attacked by her boyfriend, and he intervened just to protect his mom. As I stated, Your Honor, he tells me that the alleged victim died earlier this year. He was sick and that he died. I just wanted the state to be aware of that in case it was not known. My client has no convictions on his record, Your Honor. I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so he can get out of jail, get back to work, and to continue to take care of his child. We want the court to note that this incident happened more than a year ago. And after it happened, the alleged victim, Mr. Oldsby, and his mom, they were no longer in a relationship. So the relationship ended even before the alleged victim died, Your Honor. So I would ask the court to take all of that into consideration in setting a bond for my client. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. 19, did he graduate from high school?
He did, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to grant a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. That will be $3,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the criminal trespass, and another $1,000 on the theft by taking, for a total of $5,000. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to, as the state did not ask for a stay away, I'm assuming that address may be the mother for the defendant, possibly.
That
Or
is
do we
correct,
know?
Your Honor. That is where he lives. And the alleged victim did not live there at the time of his death.
Okay, all right. I don't mean to be cruel or anything, but I will say no further contact with the victim. And I don't mean for that to sound distasteful, although he is deceased, in case we are mistaken by any chance. I do see, oh, that's a different last name. I thought I saw someone with this case. I saw a Drummond. That's not the same case. This case is Drummer. Okay, I was just making sure there was no one related with this case. And I guess that's all I'm going to order at this point.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
That concludes my business before the court today, and it's also my birthday.
Oh, well,
may I
happy
receive-
birthday. And I'm
Happy
going,
birthday.
yes, and we're going to tease you slightly. I assume that background is real and not fake.
No, I wish it was real, Your Honor. It's wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. Okay, that's where you want to be for your birthday. We
That
get
is
it.
correct.
Well, I saw the trees moving and the water, and I said, if she is,
It's an animated background, but
oh man, those
Just
are
the
very
background.
misleading, because I thought you were in another
I
country.
wish I was on.
All right, well, go enjoy your birthday.
Yes, indeed.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I've got to figure out, you can have the backgrounds where the water's moving and the trees.
I
are
guess so.
blowing.
I want that background.
I want that background as well. Okay. All
I
right. Who do we have?
downloaded that background, so it's available.
It's available. Okay.
Personal
I
job.
don't think they'll let me use it, but we'll let Miss Holly or somebody. But, all right. Thank you. I'm sorry, Deputy. Who do we have next?
We'll see, who are they for? I'm sorry, Judge. This is gonna be position 9, Burnett.
Okay.
I have requested a translator. I have not been able to interview her, and so
Oh, number 9. Is it Spanish or what language?
it is Spanish. And I just informed Miss Lewis.
I'm working on it.
that-
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Deputy. We need an interpreter for 9, and we're waiting on one to become available. That's Miss Burnett, who's before me.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Position 9, Maddie.
No, that was 9.
I'm sorry, position 7, Maddie.
Okay. This is 23 CR 002874J. Noah Maddie, charge of one count of battery family violence. The offense date is April the 12th, 2023. Pretrial,
First.
okay? State,
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred for April 12th, 2023 at 227 Holcomb's Pond Court in Alpharetta, Georgia. And this is where officers arrived and spoke with Isaac Maddie, the defendant's brother. And he told officers that the defendant began talking to him about apartment plans. And then Mr. Isaacs stated that he didn't want to discuss any apartment plans. So the defendant started screaming at him. And so then Mr. Isaac attempted to gather his things so he could leave. The defendant's girlfriend then tried to stop Mr. Isaac from leaving by taking his phone. And then upon Mr. Isaac asking for his things back, he was held in a chokehold by the defendant. And then when officers asked him about his busted lip, Mr. Isaac told officers that the defendant struck him in the face. And now when officers spoke with the defendant, who advised that they were talking about new apartment plans, and Mr. Isaac refused to speak with him, that led to a verbal dispute between the brothers. And then the defendant let officers know that his brother, Mr. Isaacs, began to destroy things in their apartment. And so he began to hold him back. And when he almost broke the TV, the defendant held him back. And then they start punching each other. And the defendant did admit to putting his brother Isaac in a chokehold, but he stated to police officers it was just to subdue him. And the defendant also let officers know that Mr. Isaac bit him. But for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with his brother, Isaac Maddie, and to stay away from the incident location, 227 Holcomb's Pond Court in Alpharetta, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Mr. Isaac Maddie is on the Zoom call, I'd like to sound for him.
all right, Mr. Isaac Maddie. Don't think he's here. Go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, can you hear me?
I can now.
All right. Mr. Maddie is 24 years old, Your Honor. He's a graduate of University of South Carolina, where he graduated in May of 2022 with a double major in political science and history. He is currently employed at Mercedes-Benz, where he works as the inventory manager. He's been in Georgia for the past 9 months living with his girlfriend. It's my understanding that he has no criminal history. This is his first arrest ever. He is innocent. He is presumed innocent unless and until the state is able to meet their burden of proving these charges against him beyond a reasonable doubt. He does deny the allegations against him. It's my understanding that on April 12th, 2023, when the alleged incident occurred, that the officers did speak with both parties and that neither party was arrested at that time. So we are asking the court, based on he still has his job that he has, no prior criminal history. We're asking the court for a signature bond. He does not have an issue with not having any contact with his brother until this matter is resolved. He does have a different address where he and his girlfriend are planning to relocate to, anywhere which would be in Cummings, Georgia. So that would be the request of the state, of the defense.
Right, okay.
Judge,
Yes,
we do have the victim here and also his mother also in the gallery that would like to speak.
let me hear from the victim.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and stand right here. Stand on this side over here.
Stand up.
Yeah, just stand.
All right. Sir, would you like to address the court today?
Yes. Ma'am,
All right, I'm going to swear you in first. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, put your hand down. Tell me your name.
Isaac John Matty.
Isaac
John Matty.
Matty, okay. All right, and you are the brother to the defendant and the victim in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you presently in fear of Mr. Matty?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Are you in fear of your brother, Noah Matty?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you all don't live together or will not be living together, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And anything else?
No, ma'am. We have lived together for like the past week. But other than that, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that is good. I don't need to speak with your mother since she's not a victim in this case. So explain that to her is nothing personal. It's just that this is not the trial. This is a bond hearing, and she will have an opportunity to speak at a later time, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hold on one second, I'm sorry. State, is there any cross-examination?
Nothing from the state.
Okay, PD Cook?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Anything else from either party?
No, Judge.
Well, Your Honor, based on the testimony, we would then ask for no violent or harassing contact instead of no further contact with the victim.
Oh,
All right. What? Who's that speaking? All right, I'm going to go ahead and rule. I am going to order that there will be a $3,000 signature bond. I'm going to order that signature bond would be through the jail. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, Isaac Nettie. This Holcomb Pond Court, is that the mother's address or the victim's address?
That's
Believe
address.
That's my client's and his girlfriend's address, but they are relocating to the address in Cummings.
So we don't need to stay away since they won't be there.
No, they won't be there.
Okay. All right. So the no further violent contact with the victim, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons or guns while on bond. And that's all I'll order at this time.
Excuse me, Judge. I have
Thank you,
an
Your Honor.
interpreter on the line. Apparently her time is short, so I don't know where the defendant's at for this case, so they can take this case. at this
Okay.
time. Is there in the
Okay.
room or in the courtroom too?
I think he's in courtroom too.
I-
That will conclude the case. Let me conclude this case of Mr. Matty, please. We've concluded this order. Deputy, did you hear that bond?
yes, Judge, I got the bond.
Okay, all right.
Good.
Can we bring back the position 9 with the Spanish?
I haven't
Oh,
had an
that's
opportunity.
right. He's got to do a breakout first to talk to Ms. Cook.
You're done.
Yes, so
I
I
mean,
already,
PD Wills, I'm sorry.
yeah, so I already asked for her to be moved, and it looks like she had moved. So if I could just be
Okay.
placed in the breakout room.
Yeah, when Officer Norris is going to another courtroom, when he appears in the camera, he's gonna be appearing in courtroom 3. So when he pops up, then they can put him in the breakout with the Spanish interpreter with you and with Ms. Wills also.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank
Your
you.
Honor, I just would
Mhm.
like to know, I have a doctor's appointment. They just contacted me and I really need to leave about 2:55.
Okay.
Thank
We'll
you.
try to speed it along as much
Thank
as we
you.
can. Thank you for agreeing to get on at the last minute. I understand.
You're very welcome.
And they're en route now, Judge. as far
Okay,
as, Officer Norris, he's en route going to the other.
okay. Thank you. All
You're
right. Who else can we see?
Petition number 5, Mr. Greer.
This is 23 CR 002873D. Octavius Greer, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and a 2nd count of criminal trespass and damage to property. The offense date is May the 8th, 2023. Pretrial.
27 total. He got an open possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, fleeing an officer, suspended license. What else? Seatbelt violation, failure to signal, no insurance, obstruction. That's 22 CP 211353. On probation for ag assault. Possession of a firearm during the commission, possession by a convicted felon. That's 17 SC 156449. What else? He got an open probation warrant.
7937.
2022 probation, 2019 probation, 2017 possession of a Schedule 4 conviction, 2012 theft by receiving possession of tools conviction, 2009 battery conviction, and a 05 battery DV conviction. That's it.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred May 8th, 2023 at 176 Stratford Drive. And this is where officers arrived and spoke with Miss Diamond Drummond, who advised that the defendant was upset with her because he suspected that she had smoked some marijuana with another male. And the defendant, so then the defendant attacked her inside the home by punching her in the face and the arm. Officers observed bruising on her face and scratches to her arm. She told officers which they noted in the police report, that she thought her arm was broken. Miss Diamond Drummer also advised officers that the defendant shattered her car window, and officers did observe glass on the ground from her vehicle. Our victim advocate was able to speak to Miss Drummer today, and she said that her and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together and they share a child together. She said that.
Well, she's here. She's on the call.
Yes, well, yes, Your Honor. Well, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, $1,000 for the criminal trespass, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Drummond, and to stay away from the address 176 Stratford Drive, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And I'd like to sound for Ms. Drummond at the time.
All right, Ms. Drummond, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, hi, Your Honor.
Hi, let me swear you in first. Raise your right hand for me. Are you driving?
I just picked up my daughter, but I'm not driving no more.
Okay, yeah, I can't talk to you if you're driving.
Okay, I can step out the car.
Well, no, if you safely pulled over, but if you don't want to have this conversation in front of your daughter, I understand. It's just when you step out, I don't know if I'm gonna get a lot of wind and background noise. So it's up to you if you want to step out, and we'll see how it sounds.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna step out.
Okay. Try not to do these matters in front of children if I can.
Yes, that's why I couldn't be there today, because I had to pick my daughter up around this time.
Understood. All right. And so raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that? I'm sorry?
I was just making sure you can hear me well.
Oh, I can. There's not a lot of background noise, so we're good.
Okay.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you in fear of Mr. Greer?
No, I'm not. It was a misunderstanding, and I shouldn't spoke out of anger and took further actions. He's actually a great father and a good provider for me and my daughter. I was just angry at the time, and he's never done nothing like this before. So it was on my fault. He was trying to leave, and I was trying to get him to stay, and it just went further.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination, Ms. Bickerstaff?
No cross-examination from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, PD Cook.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. That's all we'll need at this point. Ms. Drummond, hold on a second. I'll give a ruling, but we're gonna have Ms. Cook to present her case, okay? All
Thank
right,
you, Your Honor.
PD Cook.
Mr. Greer is 43 years old. He's lived in Georgia all of his life. Currently, he has a high school diploma. Currently, he works at Food Mart as a cashier / and I believe he also does security. It is my understanding that he does provide for his family, as Ms. Drummond mentioned. Despite the fact that he does have 25 cycles on his criminal history, Your Honor, what you did not hear is that he has any prior failure to appears, which does suggest that Mr. Greer does show up for court. And that is the purpose of bond, to ensure that my client is not a flight risk and that he's not a danger to himself or others. As you heard from the complaining witness, she is not in fear of Mr. Greer. So we will be asking the court, and Mr. Greer does deny these, I just want to be clear, he does deny these allegations against him, and he is presumed innocent unless until the state meets their burden at trial. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we are asking the court for a lower bond or more reasonable bond than what the state has requested. He is employed, but he also does have the probation hold, so I'm not sure when he would be released. However, we will be asking for no violent or harassing contact with Ms. Drummond. He's okay with the no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we will be asking for a signature bond, Your Honor, because any bond that you're giving him at this point, he doesn't have access to his funds, and so wouldn't be able to post that bond. So we are asking the court for a signature bond.
Yes, and Judge, just briefly, when Ms. Drummond spoke to our victim advocate today, she did confirm that the defendant did in fact shatter her window, and she repaired the window for $200. This incident just occurred 2 days ago, so the state just wants to make sure there's been an adequate cooling off period between Ms. Drummond and the defendant, Your Honor. That's why we're asking for the $4,000 surety bond and no further contact with her right now.
All right. I'm going to order the $4,000 surety bond. That's $3,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the criminal trespass. I'm going to order stay away from 176 Stratford Drive. I'm going to order no further contact with Ms. Drummond until we make sure there's been the ample cooling off period. It's just been a day or so. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that's all I order at this time. All right. Next matter. And thank you for your time, Ms. Drummond. You can sign off.
Position 6, Mr. Knight.
Thank you.
You said position 8?
Position 6, Mr. Knight.
Oh, 6, I'm sorry. 23 CR 002872Y, Jamal Knight, charged at 1 count of simple battery, family violence, offense date October the 13th, 2022, pretrial.
First.
Okay, state.
Yes,
ASG,
Your Honor.
okay.
I'm sorry. So this incident occurred October 13th, 2022 at 1375 Northside Drive. And this is where officers arrived and the defendant pushed Miss Dominique Cecil into a TV during a verbal dispute where the defendant accused Miss Cecil of cheating on him. Ms. Cecil she informed officers that she tried to leave the incident location, but the defendant blocked the door, grabbed her wrist, and pushed her into the TV. The Miss Dominique Cecil did tell officers that she did not want to press charges at the scene. Our victim advocate did speak to Miss Cecil today. She said that they are in a relationship. They're not currently living together, but they do share one child. She did confirm the events in the warrant, and she let us know that this has never happened before. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Dominique Cecil, to stay away from to the incident location of 1375 Northside Drive, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And Ms. Cecil is on the Zoom call, so I would like to sound for her.
Ms. Cecil?
Hi, how you doing, ma'am?
Fine. Would you like to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will have to swear you in. Are you moving, you're walking or driving? You're walking? Okay.
Yeah, I was walking.
Okay. All right. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. And put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Knight?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want to have any contact with Mr. Knight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you all living together?
No, we're not.
Okay. Do you have any children together?
Yes, we have one child.
One child? How old?
He is a month and 3 weeks.
Oh, 1 month and 3 weeks. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Any cross-examination, ASG Bickerstaff?
If I can make a statement.
Yes, go ahead first.
Well, I do want to say I do not want to prosecute this at all. And also that he has been doing very well, and he has gone through, we stay in contact all the time. So I'm glad that you're letting us have contact. I just want to make sure that, because she did ask for that, I do want to have contact with him.
Well, I'm assuming that's because of visitation with your child.
What was that, ma'am?
Is that because of visitation with your child?
That also, and I'm not inferior him at all. It was just a misunderstanding that night. But long as we can have contact with each other, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. ASG Bickerstaff?
No direct from the state.
All right. PD Cook?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. You can mute yourself, Ms. Cecil.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. PD Cook?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Knight is 28 years old. He's lived in Georgia most of his life. His highest level of education completed is 11th grade, but he has obtained his GED. Right now, he is not currently employed. In fact, Your Honor, it's my understanding he was completely unaware of this warrant and was actually at a job interview when he was picked up. As you heard from pretrial, he has no prior criminal history at all whatsoever. This is his first arrest. As you just heard from Ms. Cecil, she is not in fear of Mr. Knight and wants to have contact with him, and also does not want to have this case prosecuted. Mr. Knight denies the allegations against him. It's my understanding that they were they were both trying to possibly get out the door. It's my understanding that the comment that Ms. Cecil made wasn't because she didn't want to be held liable for any damage to the TV. So she mentioned that that's why she was pushing to the TV. However, Mr. Knight denies that particular allegation. He is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty by the state. At trial, the purpose of bond is to ensure that he would show up for court. There is nothing to suggest that he will not. He's been in Georgia all of his life. This charge isn't so severe that would prevent him from coming back to court. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we are asking you to give him a signature bond, no violent or harassing contact with Dominique Cecil, the alleged victim in this case. My understanding is that the incident location is an extended stay place. And so he does have some, he may need, I guess if he put a stay away against that particular location, that would be fine, but I don't believe it would be necessary because I don't believe that Ms. Cecil is there. So we would ask not to have that stay away put in place. That's it from the defense.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on probation. I'm sorry, while on bond. I'm going to order a one-time escort to return to the incident location to retrieve any personal items. Otherwise, stay away from that location. I'm going to order no further violent contact with Ms. Cecil since this happened last year. If there is visitation allowed, I'm not sure, then it would be by third-party contact. And I will order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And I think that will be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is going to be the interpreter case, position number 9.
Thank you. This is 23 CR 002876F.
Este es el caso 23 CR 002876F.
And the defendant is Michelle Burnett.
Y la acusada es Michelle Burnett.
Charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence.
Con un cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
And the offense date is May 9th, 2023.
Y es May 9th, Your Honor.
Yes, May 9th.
El día del incidente fue el 9 de mayo del 2023.
All right, pre-trial.
Los servicios previos al juicio, por favor.
I don't have nothing for 8 or 9. It wasn't on my pull sheet.
Okay.
No tengo nada aquí desde el 2009.
State, when you present, let me know if you have any history.
¿Puede, por favor, decirme si tiene algún antecedente la fiscalía?
This is the defendant's first arrest.
Este es el primer arresto de la acusada.
This incident occurred yesterday at 315 Old Bridge Way in Johns Creek.
Este incidente ocurrió ayer en el 315 de Old Brook Way en Johns Creek.
Officers arrived in response to a verbal dispute between the defendant and her stepmom, Miss Alexandra Quintero, who the defendant lives with.
Este incidente, cuando llegó la policía, respondió ante un incidente de una disputa verbal entre esta acusada y la madrastra Alexandra Quinteros, con quien ella vive.
The defendant pushed Miss Quintero with both hands while the two argued about the defendant's alleged drug use.
Esta acusada empujó a la señora Quinteros con ambas manos mientras discutían un alegato de abuso de drogas.
The defendant's father, Mr. Adrian Burnett, corroborated the events to officers on scene.
El padre de la acusada, Adrián Burnett, cooperó con los oficiales que arribaron en el lugar.
Our victim advocate was able to speak to Miss Quintero today.
La defensora de víctima pudo hablar con la señora Quintero hoy.
Miss Quintero let us know that her and her husband we're discussing the defendant's life and what she was doing in her life, and that's when the physical altercation started.
La señora Quinteros dijo que ella y su esposo estaban hablando sobre la vida de la acusada y lo que estaba haciendo, y en ese momento fue cuando se empezó el ataque físico.
She let us know that this has never happened before and that she's not in fear of the defendant and that she wants the defendant home.
Ella expresó que esto no había ocurrido nunca antes, que no le teme a la acusada y que quiere que la acusada regrese a la casa.
The state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services.
La fiscalía recomienda una fianza de $3,000 bajo firma y a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
An ADET, 1-day anger awareness, and no further violent contact with Ms. Quintero. As well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
I'm sorry, Nana.
Sorry.
You have to repeat that.
Se recomienda por parte de la fiscalía que haya una evaluación y tratamiento, si es recomendado, que tome una clase del manejo de la ira, no tener más contacto violento con la señora Quinteros, y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
All right. PD Wills.
Señora
No
Wills.
objection from the defense.
No hay objeciones de parte de la defensa.
All right. I will order the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge.
Entonces voy a ordenar la fianza de $3,000 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
I will order the 1-day anger awareness course.
Y un curso de un día curso de manejo para la ira.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Y mientras esté libre bajo fianza, queda prohibido el uso de drogas, armas y alcohol.
Stay away from 315 Old Bridge Way in Johns Creek.
Debe mantenerse alejado de la dirección del 315 Oak Bridge Way en Johns Creek.
Oh, Judge, I'm sorry, Ms. Bickerstaff, I believe she said no violent contact.
Yes, I said no violent contact along
Oh,
with
I'm sorry.
ADET.
Okay. I'm not going to order ADET at this time, but no further violent contact. I'm sorry.
No voy a ordenar el tratamiento en este momento, pero sí ordeno que no haya contacto violento entre ellas.
All right, that should do it. Anything else?
Eso
Nothing.
debería ser todo.
Nothing from the defense, thank you.
Nada de parte de la defensa, gracias.
Nothing from the state.
Nada de la fiscalía, gracias.
All right, Madam Interpreter, I was going so fast I didn't swear you in, but I've seen you
I'm
enough.
sorry.
So those others will carry over. I'm sorry, yes, pretrial?
Does she speak English at all?
She understands somewhat.
All right.
I speak, but I want my language better because everything is more clean if I speak my language.
Because she got orientation she has to attend, so that's why I'm asking.
Ok, señorita tiene que ir a una orientación, a una clase de orientación.
Claro,
Anything else, sir, that you want to tell her?
They'll give her the sheet of paper before she leaves.
Antes de que usted se vaya de ahí, le darán una hoja de papel. Y ese es para ir a la orientación, no debe faltar.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
day, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Position 8, Morgan. I'm sorry, I meant to say position 4, Freeman.
This is 23 CR 002871E Dexter Freeman, charged at 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date is March the 11th, 2023. Pretrial.
11 adult arrest, 2012 probation, 2011 failure to appear, 2011 obstruction conviction, and a 2010 given false name conviction. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, so this incident occurred March 11th, 2023 at 2200 Gabi Road. And this is where officers arrived and spoke with Miss Ashley Redding. And she let officers know that she went to the defendant's apartment to get some money, and that's where the defendant refused. And so Miss Redding asked again, and the defendant told Ms. Redding to leave. However, she refused and a verbal dispute ensued. And so then the defendant began grabbing Ms. Redding's arms, her shirt, and started pushing her. And officers observed bruising on her arm and armpit and a scratch on her elbow, Your Honor. Our victim witness advocate was able to speak to Ms. Redding today, and she let us know that they're not in a relationship and they don't live together, but they do share 2 children. And she stated that they both live in the same apartment complex, Your Honor. Ms. Redding let us know that this has never happened before, and this was the first time the defendant has been violent with her. She did, however, confirm the events that were listed in the warrant. She did let us know that she's not in fear of the defendant and she wants contact, and she just gave birth to their child last month. But the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1 day anger awareness for the defendant, no further contact with Miss Ashley Redding, and to stay away from the defendant's, not the defendant's, but Miss Ashley Redding's apartment, which is 2200 Gabi Road, apartment E15, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And I would like to sound for Miss Redding as she's on the Zoom call.
All right, Ashley Redding.
Yes.
The state's recommendation.
What?
Ms. Bickerstaff,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Judge.
the state's recommendation on contact was?
Is no further contact with Miss Ashley Redding.
Okay. All right, Ms. Redding, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes.
If you do, I need to swear you in. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay. And what would you, let me ask you first. Are you in fear of Mr. Dexter Freeman?
No.
Okay. And do you want to have contact with him?
For the kids, it'll be fine. Just non-violence for the kids. Cool.
All right. And you have how many kids with him?
2. 1 is 4 and a 3-week-old.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination, Ms. Bickerstaff?
No cross from the state, Your Honor.
PD Wills?
Thank you, Judge. My client is 33 years old. He is originally from Georgia. He has obtained his GED. He is employed by Kroger. He drives a truck for them. My client states that on the day of this incident, Ms. Redding came to his home and was knocking on his door for 30 minutes straight. He did not want to allow her inside his apartment, and the only contact they had was when he physically prevented her from entering into his home. He stated after the verbal altercation, he closed the door. Ms. Redding stayed at the location, and unbeknownst to my client, she then called law enforcement and accused my client falsely of becoming physical with her. Mr. Freeman states that he did not hear law enforcement or was unaware that law enforcement was on the scene. He believed that it was still Ms. Redding knocking at his door. My client states that Ms. Redding has a history of harassing him, coming to his home, causing a scene where he has called law enforcement and made reports against her. They previously lived together for a brief period of time, and that was due to the alleged victim having been kicked out of her residence. And speaking with my client, he does not want contact with Ms. Redding. He states that he's in a new relationship that could have been the cause of this incident here. He does intend to go to the courts and legitimate his children. And he has no objection to third-party transfer of his children between himself and Ms. Redding to protect himself. For all of those reasons, I would ask for a signature bond. I also find a bruise in someone's armpit very precarious, given the lack of time that it would have taken for a bruise to formulate in someone's armpit. I would ask for a signature bond, Your Honor. No objection to the one-day anger awareness. Of course, no objection to the stay away, and we would like third-party transfer of the child.
All right. I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I'm gonna order stay away from 2200 Godby Road, apartment E15. If there is visitation with the children, that'll be by a third party. I'm going to, at this time, I know this happened March the 11th. And I believe there should have been the ample cooling down period. Of course, I guess in the middle of that, a child was born. So I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, even though I'm going to be a little safe by ordering that third party transfer just in case. If there needs to be a modification later, we can look at that. And that's all I'm going to order at this time.
Your Honor, would you consider a $2,000 or $1,500 surety bond?
Well, he has some history, his adult history, so that also lets me know he has some juvie history. With that history, I heard a few things that alarm me. I do know that he obviously has a very decent job, and I do want him to get back to work, obviously. And this date is of the incident is March the 11th. I will lower it to $2,000 surety bond.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right.
Can I speak? Can I speak now?
Do you have a question about your bond? Because your attorney's going to tell you.
No, I don't have no question about the bond, Your Honor. I see that you advised that I have no contact to her residence. In reality, I've never went to her residence. Can I ask her to
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. This location is the defendant's resident and not the victim's. Is that correct?
This is at my house. She keeps coming to my house. So can we have be able to come to my house? Because I don't go to hers at all.
Okay. I apologize. I did hear that. So I will remove the stay away, Ms. Bridgewater. This is the defendant's location. I'm sorry.
I'm
So
sorry.
there will not be.
I'm sorry, Judge Missy. Can we clarify which apartment the defendant lives in? I have that the victim's stays at E15. That's where the stay away is from. Like they won't have any contact from her address.
Oh, okay. What is your apartment number?
I'm in E5. She comes to my house. I've never been to her.
Oh, I see. You all live in the same complex.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Now I understand. Is that and that sounds like a different building?
It's the same building.
That's not good.
Yes, she lives
In the same building. So your D, what did you say yours was again? D what?
No, E5. She's in E15.
Oh,
I've been staying there since last June. She just moved over there like 2 months ago.
Okay. So let me correct this. There should be a stay away. Sorry, Ms. Bridgewater. Stay away from E15, which is the victim's apartment, and we know that you won't go there.
Is it E5 or E15?
I'm in E5.
And he says that she keeps coming to his place.
Yes, I've never been to her place.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, you're the one that the judge only has a certain amount of jurisdiction. So, yeah.
All right. So the victim lives in E15. Yes. That's correct. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then the defendant lives in E5.
Yes.
Correct. All right. So I want the victim to stay away from E as an elephant 5. Okay. And then I don't need to say anything about E15.
Not at all.
All right,
Your
because
Honor,
that's
can we still put the stay away in place for E15? There is a warrant, there was a warrant out for the defendant. It did allege that he pushed her, the officers did see bruising on her arm. So just to be safe, there should, the state's recommendation is that there should be a stay away from her address as well.
And my client has no objection. I think that's what he's upset about. He does not want contact with Ms. Redding and actually was considering filing a TPO. So he would have no problem staying away from her residence.
okay. All right. So again, the stay away is from E15. All right.
Got it.
And you're not to have any contact with her, Mr. Freeman, okay? And if you are having visitation with your children, then that needs to be facilitated by a third party, not yourself. Okay, a friend or relative or someone to contact her to have visitation if she allows it.
May I speak? We have an appointment to do.
Hold on a second. I have to see you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, turn your camera back on. Okay, what were you gonna say, Ms. Redding?
And it's fine that we stay away from each other, and with the third party visitation, that's totally fine. And I don't want to. We have an appointment to do a paternity test on Friday, so I just want to. I know that we both have to be there with the baby. So
right, is that paternity test through the state
office? No, it's
just,
we made the appointment to go for the baby.
Okay. Actually, you don't have to go together.
I have to. Oh, okay, so he can go there, or either way. Okay.
So don't go together. You go with your with the baby, or whoever's being tested. Are both children being tested, or just one?
Just one.
Okay, so you and that baby can go with your ID. Then he can go later. Who wants to go in the morning? Who wants to go in the afternoon? That's what I'm going to put in the order. That Friday, which is the 12th, there's DNA testing with the parties. Do you want to go in the morning and he go after lunch?
No, I go in the morning. I work in the
because you have to work. So let me have the defendant will go in the morning, get it done by noon, and then you can go, Miss Redding, after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that you all would not see each other. You don't necessarily have to go together.
Okay, and I apologize.
Match everything.
Yana, can I have one request if it's possible? I just want to request the same thing that y'all request from her, because you make her not be able to contact me through phone, anything, like all of that. Because I'm not.
Well, she's not the defendant in this case, and she's not charged in this case. She is the victim in this case.
I understand.
So you have been hold on. You can be advised by your attorney what you need to do regarding that. Okay. I think she's already mentioned what you're considering. And if you feel that, you're still being harassed or bothered by the victim, then there are other measures you can take. Discuss that with your attorney so that you can be protected. Okay.
I told my attorney that's why I'm actually here, because I'm the one just called the police just the other day, on the day I got locked up.
But this is not a hearing on the facts of your case. It's just fine. So talk to your attorney when you get out, give her a call, and she will advise you on what you can do, okay? So I cannot give you advice, but I will not, again, go further than I can go with what this particular case is and what the allegations are, okay? All right, good luck to you all.
Judge, I have one question.
Yes.
Should the contact remain the same as no further violent contact or no contact at all?
I'm going to change that. Thank you to no contact, because I don't think they can do no further violent. Let's make sure everybody's going to be safe and do no contact. But add in there that there is DNA testing on the 12th and the parties are to go.
Yeah, I have the father in the AM and the mother in the PM.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So that there won't be any issues with that. All right, that will conclude this case.
Position 8, Morgan.
This is 23 CR 002875B. Samuel Morgan, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is May 9th, 2023. Pre-trial,
State.
and
Oh,
number
yeah.
8.
He said state, Your Honor. I'm
Oh.
showing that the defendant has 3 cycles of trafficking cocaine conviction in 2009. This incident occurred yesterday at 11455 Bentham Court. That's BENTHAM court in Johns Creek. And this is where the defendant and his wife, Miss Crystal Morgan, were in a verbal dispute over a credit card that's attached to their car. And the defendant then began punching and dragging her into the residence and outside of the residence, and continued to attack her inside of the residence, and he refused to let her leave. Officers did observe swelling to both of her eyes. Not the defendant, but Miss Morgan had a broken blood vessel in one of her eyes, and they also observed lacerations on her legs and knees, Your Honor. Our victim advocate was able to speak to Miss Morgan, and she let us know that they're married and they live together, but they don't have any children. She confirmed the events that happened that were stated in the warrant, and she also confirmed the injuries that she sustained. Miss Morgan let our advocate know that this is not the first time that this has happened. She said that he was violent with her just in March when they went to New Orleans, and he was arrested there. She said that she believes that those charges were dropped. Miss Morgan also Miss Morgan was unsure if she feared the defendant, and she was unsure if she wanted contact with the defendant, Your Honor. She was also unsure if she wanted him to return to the home, but the state's recommendation for this case is a $5,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Morgan, and to stay away from the incident location at 11455 Bentham Court in Johns Creek. We're also asking for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Miss Morgan is on the Zoom call, I'd like to sound for her.
Miss Morgan? I don't think she's on. Miss Morgan, I see someone with just a phone number and not a name.
I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out how to start the video. It's saying unable to access camera.
You don't have your camera set up now. When you logged on, you did not accept the credentials to have a camera. So you have to go back into your settings to accept it. If not, you're gonna have to log back off and log back on and make sure you accept the camera.
Yeah, accept video.
Okay.
Do you wish to address the court, Ms. Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, you'll have to come back in, go out and come back in very quickly in order for me to see you, to speak with you.
Okay. Let me do that now.
Oh, is that her, the max 14?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who is 404-433-3660? Who is that?
I have no clue, Judge.
I know, I don't either. I didn't know if there's another.
It's another case, Your Honor.
Okay.
And you are who?
And who you are? Yeah, I was gonna say, but what is your name? Which case? For?
Barr, Daryl Barr.
Okay, Daryl Barr, okay. So you'll need
number 2.
He's been released. He's been released.
Two has been released, okay? Mr. Barr has been released. What is your name, ma'am?
This is Tanisha Evans. I was the victim. I wasn't aware that he was being released. I was the one that I got a link to join this bond hearing from the victim advocate.
Right.
When was he
Sometimes it
released?
happens in between.
When was he released?
He's released today, ma'am. He may bond.
You can
Okay,
reach back
I
out
wasn't
to
made
the,
aware.
yes, can you reach back
I
out to
wasn't
the
made aware, and I
advocate?
wanted to make sure there was no contact. I will. There should be a no contact order. He was violent. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Come back in a second. If not, we'll keep moving.
Somebody's come back in as Girl Scout. Have no clue who this is. It may be.
Oh, wow. Who's Girl Scouts?
That's the last thing I logged into for my daughter's Girl Scout meeting.
Okay, we're sorry. All right, there we go.
I did it from my computer versus my phone.
Oh, I see. Okay, so tell me your name again.
Crystal Edwards, well, Morgan.
Morgan, okay. And so are you in fear of Mr. Samuel Morgan?
I am now, yes.
You are? Okay. And do you want to have any contact with him?
We have to have contact because we have things that we have to settle.
Okay. Are you married? You're married?
Yes, we're married.
Okay. And you're going through a divorce or separation?
We're going to start a divorce, yes.
So we can put some things in place for your protection since you don't want to have any further contact. Do you all have children together? No children. Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to tell me?
I don't want him to be able to come to the house that we share together or access any of the vehicles that are in my name. Because that's where all this started, because of a car.
Okay, is it in your name alone or in both names?
All 3 cars are in my name alone.
Okay. All right, let's hear from his attorney and then I'll give my ruling.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Morgan is 39 years old. As it was stated, his last arrest was 2009, but possibly there could have been an incident in New Orleans as well. Mr. Morgan states that he has been in Georgia for the past 16 or 17 years, that he's currently in college and attends Columbia Southern, that he is or was employed by Edwards Home Care Services.
That's my business.
Okay, I understand. Mr. Morgan states that this altercation escalated, that it's the first time that the situation has escalated to such an extent. I am requesting a signature on bond. If your honor is not so inclined, I would ask for $1,000 surety bond. I understand Ms. Morgan's wishes, and I respect her wishes. So we have no objection to the no further contact. My client has stated that he can make other arrangements, living arrangements.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I do cross with Ms. Morgan?
And I'm sorry, I didn't ask that. Yes, go ahead.
Ms. Morgan, is it true that you told our victim advocate that this is not the first violent incident you had with the defendant?
No, it's not. The police was just at our house. What's today? Today is Wednesday. Monday. It all started Monday.
Okay.
That's all from the state.
And he came back again on Tuesday and did all of this.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all from the state.
Anything else, PD Wills?
No, Judge.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Crystal Morgan. I'm going to order a stay away from 1455 Bentham Court in Johns Creek. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I'm going to order a one-day anger awareness course that Mr. Morgan will have to take on his own. And as far as the vehicles, Ms. Morgan, my hands are a little tight. I'm not a civil court judge or superior court judge acting in your divorce case. It is something you will have to
But he
begin
can't,
when you,
he can't come on my property and bother them, correct?
well, he's not supposed to be on your property. So
Okay,
if he comes on your property to get those cars, you can call the police.
okay,
Okay, because you will have or get a copy of this bond order that says he is not to be at this location and he's not to be within 200 yards of you or have any contact with you.
okay.
Okay. And if you need any further assistance, you can contact the victim witness advocate that you've spoken to, or if you have at the solicitor's office, if you need any other resources or assistance. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, counsel?
Judge, can he have a one-time law enforcement escort to gather his belongings?
His mother's gonna get all of his belongings. They're already packed.
I'm going to not order that due to the injuries and due to the fear from the victim. But the victim has said she will make them available to his mother. So let's see how that goes. If not, they will have to sort that out in their divorce case as well. I'm not going to let him go back at this time. So make sure, Mr. Morgan, you do not go back to that location for anything. All right. That should conclude everything. Thank you.
All right, man.
Judge, just a quick announcement. For position 2, they bonded out. And for position 1, they waived their appearance.
Okay.
And that's it, Judge.
That should be it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did not receive a waiver. Who did they send it to?
I didn't waive his appearance.
Uh-oh.
I guess he unilaterally did that. I didn't submit a waiver.
Hey, Ms. Wills, he said that he waived his appearance. I asked him, he said, yeah, I spoke to her and I waived my appearance. So I'll just assume that he waived his appearance because he has a lot of other.
He does.
Yeah, so he didn't want to be down here anyway.
Okay, I mean, I can, if it's okay, if it pleases the court, I can submit that waiver to the court. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Ms. Bridgewater will want all of her documents in place.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. All right. Let me call this one 23 CR
Next time I'll just
00.
ask.
I'm sorry.
I was telling Ms. Wills, next time I'll ask when you talk to them, just to make sure they waive with you. So
Okay, thank you.
not a problem.
Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Take care. 23 CR 002868F. This is Claiborne Avery, charged at 1 count of public indecency. Offense date is 4/11/2023. Do we need to stop the live stream? I don't know what the facts are.
I will say it in a way that is that's decent, Your Honor, where we don't have to
Well,
stop.
and there's no one else in the courtroom, but I didn't know if there was anything that we didn't want to go on live stream.
On behalf of my client, I would object and ask that it be recorded but not streamed.
Okay. Can you do that, Ms. Lewis?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.